Hey there, I have a few questions for you. How many of you would say you love animals? How many of you animal lovers would be against animal abuse? How many of you animal lovers who are against animal abuse use this, or this? If you say yes to all of that, I have bad news. There's an invisible layer of animal cruelty that happens not in front of our eyes that I'll have to expose to you today. Hi internet friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Cam and I talk about everything through the lens of a socially conscious zillennial living in the West. Before I begin, I'd like to mention that the purpose of this video is not to condemn or shame any consumers, but to call out and call in cosmetics brands that are still supporting the conduct of animal testing. Through this video, I want to deliver information and inspire consumers to be mindful of the unethical practices of cosmetics brands in order to take actions to protect themselves and advocate for better outcomes for animals. I know the title only mentioned shampoo, so I want to clarify that the video will cover not only personal care products, but also cosmetics in broader terms, including any items intended to be applied to the body for the purpose of cleansing, beautifying, or altering appearance. Again, for the purpose of illustration, there will be actual footage of animal testing procedures, so please keep watching only if you're comfortable with the potential triggers. Alright, let's start with what animal testing is. Experimentation on animals became a standard part of medical research starting in the 17th century with wild animals, farm animals, and domestic cats and dogs used as subjects. Animal experimentation, combined with the dissection of dead humans, allowed scientists to learn about how the human body works and ultimately led to the development of most modern vaccines, medicines, and surgical procedures. Many animals in labs spend their entire lives in isolation, in metal cages, without toys, soft beds, or the barest of comforts. In the wild or in other domestic situations where they enjoy companionship, they spend much of their time grooming, communicating, and interacting with each other. These behaviors are impossible when these animals live in cages. Forcing an intelligent, feeling social creature to spend their life in a cage with no companionship or interaction with others, with little or no opportunity for exercise or play, and with limited and stressful interaction with humans is psychologically and emotionally stressful. Yet, many millions of animals have endured such living conditions, and many millions more continue to do so. In 2019 in the US alone, almost 800,000 animals were used in research. That's close to 1 million in just one country. The most common among those hundreds of thousands of lab animals include pigs, rabbits, hamsters, monkeys and macaques, dogs and pigs, and so many more. Particularly for testing on cosmetics, the following are common forms of experiments performed on animals. Again, this could be very uncomfortable to learn, so please skip if you're not comfortable. Eye irritation, corrosion, placing substance into the eyes of live rabbits. Skin sensitization, rubbing substance onto the shaved skin of guinea pigs who are subjectively assessed for allergy, or painting substance onto the ears of mice. Repeated dose. Rats, occasionally rabbits, mice, or dogs are force-fed, forced to inhale, or have the substance rubbed onto their shaved skin every day. Reproductive toxicity. Pregnant female rabbits or rats are force-fed the substance, and all of them end up getting killed between a week and 3 months. Terrified yet? That's unfortunately just the tip of the iceberg. And with that much absurdity, you must be thinking that millions of lives are being sacrificed for valid reasons, but that's unfortunately not true. As I explained, animal testing came from the place of concern for humans' health and well-being and safety, and I see how animal testing for medical purpose could be justified in the old days when there are no better alternatives, but animal testing on cosmetics is never a necessity. People could have died without medications, but no one would have been harmed without some perfume or lipstick. No animals should be tortured to death, just for humans to look nicer. And don't get me wrong, I totally believe cosmetics must be tested for consumer safety, but it's 2022 and there are many better alternatives that yield the same or even more accurate results. Nowadays, alternative methods can include a range of techniques, including cell-based tests using tissue taken from dead humans or animals, chemical-based analytical tests, computer-based modeling, and ethical human studies. Whew! I'm still not done, but thank you for attending my TED Talk. You're probably feeling very heavy right now, so let me introduce Ella, who's gonna cheer you up with her cuteness.
Say hello to everyone. This is Ella.
I really want to applaud you for having the courage to face this truth. It is absolutely not your fault. It's never the fault of consumers for falling into the deceptive marketing tricks of corporations that have mastered the arts of manipulation. You were blinded. I was too. But our path should be clear now. It is very heartbreaking, but you have to remember the way you feel right now to make more ethical choices when you go to the drugstore next time. So I want to thank you for taking the first step towards awareness. Thank you for showing that you care. So now you must be wondering, with all of those alternatives, why is animal testing still a thing? There are various reasons, but for the sake of simplicity, I will personally put this on hyper-capitalism. You might have known that capitalism places profits above everything, and the easy way to increase profits is to reduce cost at the expense of people and the planet. Now, when I learned about animal testing years ago, I thought it was cheap. That's why I was very surprised to learn that animal testing is actually super expensive. Here, let me show you. In vitro alternatives to common experiments on rabbits and rats are surprisingly so much less costly. Especially for testing cancer risk, it's over 30 times cheaper to do an in vitro test compared with torturing some poor rats for 2 years. Now, with all that, my educated guess is what's holding corporations back from adopting these alternatives are the cost of change management. It is commonly expensive to alter an existing gigantic system that has been performing well economically for decades or even centuries. Again, that's just my guess, but if you have more intels, please let the community know in the comment section. And anyway, to continue on the conversation with capitalism, cost cutting alone won't result in enormous profits. What actually does the trick is market expansion, putting products out to global consumers. In fact, quite a few countries have banned animal testing, and most countries don't really have any strict mandates on testing on animals. However, there's one country in the world that still legally requires cosmetics to be tested on animals. China. The Chinese cosmetic market was worth over 50 billion US dollars in 2020, making it the world's second largest beauty and personal care product market in the US. In the same year, the US exported around $800 million worth of personal care and beauty products to China. As of last year, China no longer requires pre-market testing on certain categories of cosmetics, but testing on special use cosmetics such as hair dyes, sunscreen, deodorant are still mandatory. The only way to bypass this is to sell through e-commerce retailers instead of opening brick-to-mortar stores, which isn't always the best for visibility. So essentially, being cruelty-free means brands have to let go of this lucrative Chinese market. These companies won't lose money, but will just not be able to maximize their profit. And that's why popular brands like Dior Beauty, Lancome, and MAC Cosmetics chose to risk their products being tested on animals for an entrance ticket to sell in China. That's just greed at its finest. Now you know about this absurdity, you must be thinking, oh shit, what should I do now? I hear you, I was there. Years ago when I found out about this, I was devastated. It took me a long time to finally get to the point where I no longer carry cosmetics tested on animals, especially when I was a broadcast student living in a third world country with not a lot of options. Here are a few things you can do. If you have unfinished stuff tested on animals, use them up. Don't waste them. No animals would be saved if you are wasteful because the damage was already dealt. Just don't repurchase from any of those brands and when you're done. Whenever you buy something new, get it from a cruelty-free brand instead. If you don't know which brands are cruelty-free, firstly you want to look for the Leaping Bunny logo, which is affiliated with Cruelty Free International. Other logos, even PETA, are not as reliable, and I'll link an article in the description below if you're interested in learning why. If there's no logo on the packaging, look up the brand on cruelty-free directories. I always refer to the sites of Cruelty-Free Kitty, Logical Harmony, and Ethical Elephant. These amazing bloggers have personally clarified facts with brands and compiled a directory for us consumers. They're literal heroes. And finally, while practicing this new shopping and consumption regime, try to inspire others too. I know it often feels hopeless, and I personally have attempted to preach cruelty-free cosmetics to a ton of people, and most of them were just nonchalant. However, few people actually took that knowledge to their heart and switched to cruelty-free products afterwards. So as long as your effort is reciprocated by just one person, it's still a positive impact that you're making for the world. So convince yourself to not feel lame for preaching something that is not yet common sense. Please keep doing the right thing and do not give up on your principle. Alright everyone, that's everything I have for today. I hope that was helpful. I also hope that after today, some of you will opt for kinder choices next time you shop for cosmetics. Animal cruelty sadly still happens today, so you need to take actions to protect yourself and vote with your cash instead of waiting for corporate greed to take itself out. And saying you love animals without doing anything for them is unfortunately not enough. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you want to hear me rant and ramble about other social topics like this, please subscribe. In the description box, there are links where you can sign to active petition to stop animal testing and donate to causes that work towards animal welfare. Please support if you have the means to do so. I also threw in some resources and articles that I used to develop this video, so feel free to have a read if you're interested in learning more. I'll see you again soon. Peace and love.